Howdy team, in this episode I want to talk to you about the importance of maximising every lead and every opportunity that you get. There's a habit and a need when you're first starting out to try and just focus particularly on the mortgage, especially if you are a mortgage advisor. But I think we're missing a trick. Whether you are a will writer, financial planner, financial coach, mortgage advisor, protection only advisors will do this naturally. And I think the overall mortgage advisor IFA might be missing this as a huge opportunity to increase your income. And it's a very, very slight change in the process that you are naturally following. Because I'm seeing a lot of mortgage advisors within the mortgage pro community. I'm speaking to a lot of my team and they're finding it equally difficult with lenders in the current climate not willing to lend, although buyers really want to buy. So I thought I would share some ideas, some insights, some strategies, some conversations, some tips and some tactics that you can utilize in order to be able to maximize every lead and every opportunity that lands on your desk.
Welcome to the Financial Pro Podcast.
So maximizing every lead and every opportunity that you have on your desk, I think comes back to process in the first instance. In the Mortgage Pro Academy or within the Financial Pro Academy, we've been covering off a lot about process. And it doesn't matter what industry or business you are in, you must have a sales process. And the vital thing is how you position the conversations and the process right from the very outset. Because in a market, for example, for mortgage advisors at the moment where buyers want to buy but lenders don't want to lend, the difficulty is being able to actually convert cases right now. It's amazing. You're getting all of these leads into the business and you're potentially giving yourself the opportunity that these people are going to want to buy from you in the future. But I don't want to pay my mortgage in the future. I need to pay my mortgage now. And that's the same for you as well. It's about how you manage to get the deals across the line and get the deals done today as well as potentially in the future. And this is where it comes down to, the lead comes into your business, you have an opportunity to have that first conversation with them. And I'm a big advocate of mentioning protection, insurance, making sure that they're left with the home and not with the debt. Always refer to a mortgage, for example, as debt. And I think this is where, within the industry, we need to take on more of a financial coaching mindset, a financial planning mindset. You should be a mortgage planner, a life planner, an insurance planner. And it shouldn't just become about the transaction that is currently sitting in front of you. Yes, somebody has been online, for example, or been into the estate agent and said, I want to buy this house and I need to get a mortgage. But you have a duty of care and you have due diligence to do in order to be able to make sure that they can maintain that mortgage payment. In order to be able to make sure that should one of them die, particularly if they're in a household with only a single earner, where the other person is mostly a housewife, that you provide the right recommendation and the right advice to ensure that the mortgage is cleared and the household can be maintained and the living expenses can be covered. And things like family income benefit is such an obvious sale, but I guarantee so many are leaving that on the table and not having the discussion in the first instance. So what I said to my team and what I said to my masterminders last week is start flipping the conversation on its head. Because if you're constantly building pipeline for later, that is not going to pay your mortgage, it's not going to pay your bills now. So the vital thing to do is to make sure that you have the conversation and talk about, I like talking about financial foundations. Give it a sexy name. Give it something that makes it sound like more than just insurance or mortgage or whatever. When you talk about financial foundations, if I've got a first-time buyer that I'm talking to today who wants to buy in the next 12 or 24 months, my immediate conversation is, well, what's the things that could stop you being able to buy in 12 months or 24 months time? What's the thing that, you've managed to save up all of this money, worked so bloody hard, you've got your deposit, you've done this, you've done that. What would stop you being able to do that in 3 or 6 months time? And stop, pause, do not speak. Let them think, let them process. And actually just having that conversation, the idea is they're going to say, well, sickness, illness, health, cancer, heart attack, and you can throw in, give them a little bit of a nudge if they need it, but give them time to process the question that's being asked. And 9 times out of 10, most of your clients, we all know as industry professionals, no matter what warp of financial services we are in, that income protection is probably the most needed and the most undersold. And it's because everybody thinks, oh, it's not going to happen to me, I don't get ill, I never have this, I never had that. But actually it's about putting together a bespoke protection package that means that your client is fully covered against every eventuality. And the protection gap is huge in the UK. And all of these people that are coming across your desk right now who are thinking about getting mortgages, planning for the future, learning that actually they've only got a 10% deposit and they can't get 90% mortgages right now. They're in the mindset, they're in the buying mindset. They want to do something, but the industry is not allowing them to. So it's about having that holistic view and that lovely conversation of, look, I'm your advisor, I'm your friend. I'm going to help you the same way I would help myself, the same way I'd help my friends. Now, if you are an advisor and you're in the situation yourself where you're self-employed or you're employed by a company and you don't have adequate protection in your own life, then that's going to have an impact on your ability to be able to sell that to others and to sell that to your clients, because you have to believe in protection. And I believe that protection needs to be sold. Now, yes, we're advisors and yes, we advise our clients accurately, but everybody needs it, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants a piece of paper that tells them they're going to get money when they're dead. But it's about painting the picture of what life looks like in the future should they not have that. It's about educating them, providing them with statistics if they're a statistical person. It's about giving them the right advice, the right conversation, giving them what would happen in the event. TED is a great model. Tell me how you would feel. Explain to me what would happen in the event of. Describe to me what life would be like. TED. Tell me, explain to me, describe to me. Utilize that in your sales conversations early on in the process of when a mortgage inquiry or a planning inquiry comes across your desk. Because actually, clients are going out there into the world. For example, you might have somebody who's renting at the moment and they want to buy a house. They've got a deposit, but they've got 2 kids. Now, if your client is not taking a mortgage now because they can't get their 90% mortgage, you're doing them a disservice, you're leaving money on the table, and you're also doing yourself a disservice by them not walking out of that office or the Zoom conversation or the telephone conversation without having had a conversation about family income benefit. Because whether they're in rented or not, and equally not just family income benefit, but what about some level term life insurance? Because they're going to need money to live, but if Mr's the main earner or Mrs is the main earner and they then can't go and afford the mortgage, at least they could then go and buy a house mortgage free or a flat mortgage free, whatever it might well be. So I think you've got to change your perspective. In times like this, and I've been through the credit crunch, 2006, I was doing adverse credit mortgages, having built an adverse credit brokerage for somebody else in 2005. Had a great life, charging big fees, covering the valuations and the solicitors out of my fees to make it easy for people. And I was earning decent money as a sole person, and then the mortgage market fell off a cliff. And in 2009, couldn't do anything. It was right, what the hell do I do now? Well, I've been doing little bits of insurance because it was adverse credit mortgages. And the first thing that always goes generally in adverse credit is the insurance bills. And you see them going on the vicious cycle now of, they have debt, you pay the debt off, 2 years comes around, the debt's rebuilt again. Story for another day. But the whole idea is I built an insurance brokerage to nearly 7 figures, had many ups and downs during those learnings and during that period of time, which is why I love to educate you guys now in terms of not making the same mistakes that I did for 10 years. But the conversation when somebody inquired about insurance was not just about the £100,000 life insurance that they had inquired about, or the £5 a month advert that they had seen to get insurance. It was, who are you? Where are you at in your life? And this is what I believe you need. And I think more often than not, particularly in the mortgage industry, someone will come on your desk wanting to move home, remortgage, product transfer, buy to let, whatever it might well be. But when you're doing a buy to let, do you ask the question of what do you want to happen to this property upon your death? What do you want, do you want to leave someone else with the mortgage to pay, or do you want to make sure that that income's there for them to carry on their standard of living? Do you want what do you want to happen to your portfolio? And there's ways and means in which you can do that. And if you're not a protection expert, then you should be referring and recommending to somebody who is a protection expert, because mortgages and protection are two completely different beasts. You can either be a jack of all or you can be a master of one. And I think it gets to a point where you have to leverage some of the, depending on the complexity of the mortgages you're dealing with, you have to partner and you have to leverage out all the protection sales to a protection only advisor. But you are leaving money on the table by not looking at your lead, your prospect, your inquiry as a holistic, how can I help you? Where are you at in your life now? And how best can I provide you with a solution that also puts money into my bank now, rather than having to wait 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 months, whatever it might well be. And if you can get them to do one product with you, then you're more than likely going to get the mortgage in 12 months or 24 months, rather than them doing it with the estate agent broker, because you've spoken to them like your friend and you've given them proper advice. Now, this also causes you a problem, because if you start doing a proper job with every single inquiry and every single lead that comes across your desk, you will need less leads, but you will make more money as a result. And this is the vital point. It's not about, I hate it when I see the conversations of, this is how many I do 80 mortgages a month. I couldn't give a shit how many mortgages somebody does a month. They could be 80 mortgages at £100,000. I'd rather do, one mortgage at £1 million than 10 at £100,000. I'd rather do life, critical illness, income protection, family income benefit, health insurance, will, and mortgage, and broker fee, and solicitor, and utility warehouse for one person, and build a proper relationship with them and actually give them true value and serve them really, really well and look after them and build a relationship for the future, rather than being a money churner and a numbers game like all the fee-free brokers in London and Country and everyone that's out there, where it's just a sausage factory of let's get loads of leads in, let's get loads of deals done, let's get loads of mortgages over the board. Doesn't interest me at all. I just think about your process. Think about the conversations that you have, and think about maximizing every opportunity. But more importantly than that, it's not just about maximizing every opportunity, because value outweighs cost 9 times out of 10. And this is what I talk about when it comes to selling broker fees. But one of the big things is, if you make yourself valuable to a client, if you show that you truly, truly care and you sell them in your process, that you want to have a conversation with them about now, before now, like how they got to where they got to, where they are at now, and what their plans are for the future. Because the mortgage and everything that you have to offer is part of that process. I'm here to serve you and to give you the best advice, the best support, and to talk to you about every eventuality that could, would, should, maybe, might happen between now and the time when you buy. Is that all right, Mr. or Mrs. Client? And you need to start thinking about maximizing every opportunity and looking at each lead, each prospect, as an opportunity to do more than just arrange their mortgage. It's about looking at them and providing proper, not financial planning advice, unless you're a financial planner. If you go and sit down with a financial planner or a will writer, they will look at everything, because they have to. No stone will be left unturned. But there seems to be a habit in the mortgage industry that you don't do that. You just focus purely on the mortgage. Whereas actually you need to focus on the individual and then provide the advice and the recommendation relative to those individuals that you are working with, to give them the best products, to give them the best advice, to give them the best support, and to make sure that they leave with what they need, but also what they want, but also you get some business in. Because you're helping clients, you're due to get paid, you should get paid. I don't believe in doing loads and loads of work for free. And I think if you can build relationships, if you can help more people, if you can solve more people's problems, if you can paint a picture of what life is like in the future, should they not actually have the right protection in place, cover their family adequately, have the right income protection, cover their health insurance, then that's going to mean that they're going to understand why they need it. And that could be the game changer between them being able to get the mortgage and them not being able to get the mortgage. It's even taking the time from a point of view of, doing the LV risk calculator. It takes a few minutes to do, but I wonder how many brokers actually use that as part of the sales tool to show what the percentage of death is, the percentage chance of getting an illness, or the percentage chance of not being able to work for a period of time. These tools and things are provided. It's just whether you're actually using them. You don't need 1 million leads a week. You just need a few, and do it properly. Everybody you speak to more than likely needs one thing that you can advise or sell on. And if you switch your mindset to sell them and to advise them, if you would switch your mindset first of all to advise them on everything that you have to offer that's going to be supportive of their lifestyle, then you're more inclined to sell one thing, which not only will you make more money, you will need less leads, you'll be more profitable, and you'll have much better relationships with your clients, and you'll get more referrals and recommendations because they're not just referring somebody for a mortgage. Protection is a buy now product, a mortgage isn't. So I hope that gives you something to think about. Hope that gives you some motivation to think about your sales process differently, to start looking at your clients more holistically and ways in which you can actually support them, guide them, coach them, help them. I think there's definitely a need for some mortgage coaching out there in terms of actually coaching clients. You do it 9 times out of 10 for first-time buyers through the house buying process. But when we get busy, we often find that you drop the ball on your sales process, when in actual fact, you might want to do more mortgages, but how much money are you leaving on the table, and how much risk are you leaving yourself open to? And do you really feel like you're doing a proper job by just focusing on the mortgage numbers rather than actually looking at the full picture of your clients that you're speaking to, you're dealing with? So I just urge you to review your process, and I hope that gives you something to think about. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in, and remember, now's the time to become pro.